It is. It's your boy Smoove. We are going to get into it again. Today we are talking about another hypocrite, Abba of Abba and Preach. Abba Atlas, huh? So this homeboy pretty much trashes mainly people in the red pill space or manosphere altogether. Some rightfully so, because some people are bad actors, if you will. But the problem that I'm having is the hypocrisy. Those of you who know me know that I hate the hypocrisy. I don't think that you should ever take on the stance of the holier than thou, and then you are a scumbag too. And that is what we witness many times when we're talking about these content creators. They are the scumbags themselves, right? And that's fine. I'm a former scumbag, not to the point where I would abuse or impregnate women and lie to them. But, I played around. I did my little thing, and it is what it is. I'm vocal about it. I don't try to act like I am perfect. I've made a lot of mistakes on the way and have done my best to have more fruitful relationships as far as women are concerned. But yeah, we got some clips, and you can see them trashing them first, and then we'll talk about his latest scandal. This is at least the third woman who has come forward to say that he's knocked her up and left. This is all allegedly, but some of it he actually admitted, so we can't even say that. But yeah, let's get into it.
Fresh. You ever gonna stop self-snitching?
Again! You f***ing idiots!
And in case you're wondering whether or not this is a real story, if you keep watching the clip, you'll see that being said, Fresh says it's real.
That's his imitation of Fresh, aka Walter Leaks. And I mean, whatever. I ain't going in on that. They got their own beef for years now. It's been that serious for them. But he really trashed Fresh at one point for getting someone pregnant and him not necessarily wanting to have the baby with the woman. And in his opinion, it wasn't mutually agreed upon. But yeah, bro, you out here doing the same thing, just on a way higher clip, apparently, allegedly. Carry on.
Coconuts in Barbados. It's okay. People were like, oh, why would you think this? Because this is who Fresh is. This is things he's done before. So essentially, this guy gets a girl pregnant, pretends he's going to be with her, says, listen, I want babies with you, but it's just not the right time. So the girl's so in love, she's like, all right, I'll get rid of this kid that I do want, that you put inside of me. But to be with you, I'll get rid of it, and then we'll have kids together in the future when it's going to be the right time. And then he dumps her after she got the abortion. Does this seem like the kind of person who's trustworthy and responsible? I'm asking. According to Fresh himself, he's not. He's a deceptive individual who will say anything to a woman to get her to like him, and then will also lie to her to get himself out of any situation.
Hi, my name is...
How about that? How about that? How about
Are you not entertained?
Bro, you see how that goes? You see how... Those of you who believe in karma will get a kick out of this. We're going to let homegirl talk it out for a minute. This is the young lady over here, Kiki, and she is at least the third accuser of bro for doing the same damn thing, fooling her, going raw diggity, knocking her up, and getting her to get up out of here after a little while. Let's let it go.
Kiki, and you can find me on Instagram at rslki. Today I'm sharing my experience with a narcissistic YouTuber with 2 million subscribers who lied about his fertility to multiple women, impregnated multiple women, including myself, and who proceeded to dox all of us.
That's when I meet
including my 5-year-old daughter.
Wow. He doxed your 5-year-old daughter. He is wicked. Yikes.
So first things first, how did we meet? What was his demeanor like? Before I met this individual, I wasn't really familiar with his past. For example,
that
the
was
past.
No.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. No. No. You were not familiar with his past, right? You are not familiar with his past. I want y'all to take that note. She don't know who bro is at all, right? She has no idea of who this famous guy with 2 million subscribers is, right? She don't know who he is, right? Okay. She don't know what he got going on with other content creators. She gonna name them too.
Issues with other creators such as Fresh and Fit,
Right? She mentioned Fresh and Fit, Destiny, Stevie Knight, O'Shea, Andrew Schultz, etc. Okay. No taken.
Destiny, and other, crazy lore that I've come across after the fact. What I thought of this individual was that he was very mature. I thought that he was a very stand-up kind of guy. I thought that he was very kind. I thought he was very honest. His demeanor just comes off as someone who cares about other people. He talks a lot about wanting to be present. He talks about wanting to show up for friends and family and those that he considers loved ones. Before we started talking, I had made a Instagram account and I found that he has a page on Instagram. He has, I believe, 4 different Instagram accounts. There's one for his main channel and then there's one for himself, and then the other ones, I don't know what he does on those. The one that I followed is probably the main one that most people know about. I came across a video of him dancing with a woman and she was very curvy, very beautiful. So I decided to comment on it and say something witty. There's this ongoing joke in their community where I guess dancing or doing stuff with women is gay.
Any man that can boogie is a homosexual.
Whoa. See. And this is exactly what we're talking about.
Combo breaker!
Stop it. There's this ongoing joke. What clip did she decide to pull from? The Fresh and Fit. She came up with this idea before she even met bro. There's an ongoing joke about people talking about dancing as being, lefty righty, right? Think about that. This is a Fresh and Fit clip. She knows they got beef. It's an ongoing joke. How is that if you don't know any of these issues that he has with other content creators? See what I'm saying?
That was a lie.
Right. So we already have some bullshit over here. She's not being honest.
So I left a comment on that video saying the finger landing on the belly button is anything but gay. He liked it. Well, he hearted the comment, and then on my own page, I had posted a small compilation of photos where one of the clips was of one of their live streams. I think that caught his eye because that was one of the first things that he mentioned when he slid into my DMs. From there,
see the framing. The framing is bullshit. Yes, for sure. Check it out. Listen. Now I know what bro is doing is off the chain, but I don't think that she's completely innocent. She said he slid into my DMs. No, you baited him. You literally said that you needed to come up with something witty. What for? You trying to get his attention. That was the bait, right? He found a post of you, right, posting his dances, right? So you said you would say something witty. You like the post. You try to make sure that you can get his attention. You baited him. He took the bait, and I ain't mad at you for it. If you're trying to shoot your shot, it's all good. This is how women shoot their shot, and that's cool, right? They won't do it as overtly as men will, but women shoot their shot. She baited, bro. She trying to act like she not on the come up. Meantime, got wood paneling and bars on the windows. She living rough.
It's all history. After he slid into the DMs, he gave me his phone number. He was very flirty, very goofy, very silly, I would say very charismatic. Our conversations went really nicely, I would say. They were very fun for me. Throughout our conversations, we would share anything and everything about the things that we want to do, our plans for the future, relationship stuff.
To ask you a side question, since he was asking about me. How well do you find your mental state when you're on a very specific schedule versus when you're not? And how do you feel about it? Let's say like you do prefer one or the other, but you're not in that headspace. So let's say if you prefer a more routine-based thing. and you're not having that, how do you handle that? Tell me.
What we have, like, what kind of expectations that we have for potential partners and things of the sort. A few days after we started talking, he wanted to know if I had a passport. I didn't have a passport at that time because my family and we've never left the country. Well, one of my family members has been traveling before, so she has one, but most of us haven't. We, stay where we are, we settle down where we are. That's not my intention for my life. I would like to travel more, but at that time I just didn't have a passport. So we started talking about getting one, and my plan was to go through the mailing process, which would take about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks max, maybe 6 weeks. I'm not entirely sure how that process works. He wanted me to do the 24-hour passport service, which was in Washington.
Damn, bro was pressed. Yikes, he was trying to get to it, boy. He was trying to make sure he get that release, boy. What? Boy wanted that. He said, no, I'll get this 24-hour. I'm not trying to wait weeks for this. Damn.
Washington, D.C. And at the time I was in North Carolina. And to me it seemed like this person was very interested in me. He was very consistent. He talked, he communicated just very consistently. I was like, okay, this person is interested in me. I had my suspicions, but at the same time I was like, I need to be...
Yeah, you have your suspicions. This is where you go with your gut, right? Go with your gut. But you probably saw bro as a lick. You figure he would come in and play Captain Sable, and it didn't work out like that. And we ain't mad at you for it. I just really don't like the framing, because we're trying to make it seem like you're this girl next door type deal. But come on now, you over here pressed too. You making all types of means to get this going. You saying you ain't got no bread. You a single mom, blah, blah, blah. Meantime, you're going to pay for the travel and cost of a 24-hour passport, which ain't cheap. Come on, man. What we doing? You figured you was going to have a come up.
More trusting of people. I need to be more open and willing, because prior to this situation I've had horrible dating experiences. As you know, I'm a single mother. I've been physically assaulted. I've been abused. There's so much that I've experienced in my life that has pushed me to the point where...
Now, we're very sad that happened to you, but knowing that, right, what would you do with that? Knowing these were your experiences, you probably should have went with your gut and been more cautious, for sure.
I'm not entirely sure if I even want to pursue romantic relationships anymore, but I wanted to give it a shot. I wanted to try. With the passport situation, it was my job to drive 5 hours to Washington, D.C., pay for the passport, and drive 5 hours back. And so in that day, I drove a total of
5 hours.
Stupid. I had to drive back home at nighttime, and my vision is really bad. It was terrifying for me.
What are you doing? 5 hours?
Today I got time, cuz.
Damn. Each way? Yeah, all right. For what, though? For what? Why is she going this hard? For somebody she never met, doesn't know. I don't know. I think you could have found somebody locally that would have been with it like that. You want to go across the border to Canada to meet bro, but you didn't know anything about him. You didn't know about anybody else who's in an entirely different nation. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and exhaust all my resources and time and all of this just to possibly meet a chill guy. Carry on.
It was raining. It was storming. He knew how scared I was and how, just how terrified I was of doing this. But at the time, I felt like it was worth it, because I feel like individuals need to put in effort when they are pursuing a romantic relationship. And doing these sort of actions for me is how I show someone that I care and that I'm interested. As I've mentioned before, he was very consistent with his communication. We would have multiple phone calls, FaceTime calls, Discord calls, and we would talk for hours on end. And he shared...
Who does Discord calls? For real? Discord calls?
A lot of personal things with me that made me feel like he was genuinely interested, that he trusted me. My worries at the time were mainly, why me? Why are you interested in me? I'm a regular person. I have a kid. There's not a lot of people who, especially in his position, want to pursue something with someone in my shoes. And that was just me being realistic and me trying to be practical because, yeah, why are you interested in me? There's plenty of other gorgeous, beautiful ladies that you could pursue. That was a big part of my worry when we were talking, and he knows about it because he would reassure me. He would tell me that it's okay to need reassurance in the beginning.
Yeah, but anybody who has level 5 out of 10 player in them would understand that whatever your insecurities are, you go ahead and reassure it. I mean, alright.
Because you don't know the person, you don't exactly trust them so much. These type of conversations made me open up more. It made me pull down my walls a little bit more. I became more vulnerable with him, and I felt like he was becoming more vulnerable with me. We all know now that that was not the case. By the time it was March 31st, it was time to go to Montreal, Canada to meet this individual. Everything prior...
Damn, Montreal ain't no joke. That's even further than Toronto. She went hard for bro. What is going on?
To this meetup was great. The calls, the conversations, the consistency, the communication, it was all great. But after this meetup, all of that went downhill. I've already explained his behavior prior to meeting up. So now...
Right. So she gave him the buns, and he had nothing else to look forward to because that's all he really wanted. Unfortunately, right? I definitely don't agree with that. I don't think he should have led you on. If that's what he was looking for, then he could have told you and y'all could have had whatever arrangement that you wanted at that point. But, bro out here apparently fooling y'all. That's not so player.
I will go deeper in depth on his behavior afterwards. After meeting this individual in Montreal, his communication dipped significantly. It almost ceased to exist. Every time I would call this individual, it would go straight to voicemail. He would ignore them. He would have an excuse as to why he's not talking, why he can't conversate, why he can't communicate. This dip in communication made me very nervous. It made me anxious. When you are pursuing a romantic relationship with an individual and this person has these certain habits in the beginning and then you see those habits decline, you have a reaction, and that reaction is not going to be good. You're going to feel like they're not interested anymore. You're going to feel like, oh, maybe they found somebody else. Maybe they're talking to somebody else. He would just tell me that he's just busy with work.
Sure, you were rejected. Unfortunately, you were rejected. You know what it was. You knew that was the risk. You know that's the risk. All women, well, we can't never say anything in absolute. Most women understand that there is a great risk involved when you're meeting up with people. The more time, effort, and resources that you have to put into it, the worse off for you because the higher the stakes. And after that dude hit, that he just might not like you. That's why women try to get the hook first, because once you got your claws in, then he might be more likely to stick around. At least you think so. That's not necessarily how it works. Basically, you have to offer what this man considers value. The threshold of whenever you decide to hold your kitty for is not going to determine whether he's with you or not, unless he's just trying to dip off anyway, which you weren't going to win. Because if you would have waited 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever, dudes will wait a long time to hit, and then as soon as they do, it's over no matter what. He has to feel like you offer value. That's your better bet. Offer value. If you can do that outside of sex, then he won't only be concerned with the sex. Maybe that's not what he's looking for at all. Maybe not. So maybe you were catch-22 no matter what. But you would have probably soon found that out anyways.
He's busy doing his salsa dancing, he's busy editing, or he's going to events, he's doing things with family. He would tell me that he's having several health issues that later I find were just excuses. We still don't know the entire truth to that, honestly. Because when we're speaking about these alleged health issues, we already know that there's contradictions with his story of him having an issue with his fertility. This issue with his fertility may possibly be true. We don't know because he's never showed proof of that. He's never shared actual documentation to prove him telling the truth. Unlike all three of us women who have a whole Dropbox, a whole plethora of receipts, and still yet people are treating us like we are liars, scorned women, whatever. This individual, he has claimed a lot of health issues and uses it for his own benefit. It may be true that he has health problems, but he's an individual who uses it for his own benefit. During our meetup, we had consensual intercourse. I know there's individuals online who are claiming that me or the other women are claiming that he had stealthed them. That is not true. None of us have claimed that
Stealthing is when you act like you had the jammy on. Like, you'll put it on at first and then you'll slip it off during some point, and then without the woman's consent, which could be considered you know what. So you can't do that. Gentlemen, don't stealth. They're saying that he didn't, except for possibly one woman claiming that doesn't go on camera. So yeah, that's crazy. You're better off just telling them up front, raw diggity or nothing, and they could either take it or leave it.
he stealthed us. It was an anonymous individual who came forward. She is not public, so I don't think I have any business putting her face out there. Unless she wants to come out, that will be her choice. But back to what I was saying. During our trip, we had consensual intercourse. I did ask about condoms. He said he doesn't like them. They don't feel right, or they're not for him.
I've already spoken in the past about my issues with condom use. It's not something I'm proud of or whatever it is, but that's just the truth. It ain't pretty, but I mean, being honest.
After the
Listen, guys. Oh my goodness. Listen. You gotta pick a struggle, man. Either you're going to like use a jammy if you can't. If you can't use a jammy, and I get it, some people's plumbing doesn't work with the jammy on. I get it. But you can't cream pie at the same time, bro. Like, you got to pick a struggle, bro. You can't do both. You can't be letting it go raw diggity. That's crazy. You can't be doing that. That's just crazy. You can't be doing that. I know you want to say that you're not fertile or whatever, but you allegedly you've knocked up at least 3 joints that came forward. So, and within a very short time period, and according to the young ladies, there was some serious overlap. So the plumbing is working, bro. You might want to start strapping up, particularly you, because if you're worth millions of dollars, this is something that you want to do. You need to protect yourself from these type of things, because guess what? If you would have strapped up, this wouldn't even be a story. Carry on.
Consensual intercourse, he suggested that I take the Ella pill, which is basically like another Plan B pill. He took me to the pharmacy.
Another thing about that's not the biggest of issues. There's a bunch of Batman forevers out there, man. And even the little joints, right? When you running from V-spot to V-spot, you know, that whole BV thing is real. Secondly, you know, there's a lot of Batman forevers out there, stuff that don't go away. You don't want no parts of that. I don't understand. Like, a lot of it is running rampant right now too. There's a bunch of things that you don't want no parts in, and you don't know what these individuals are doing. You're just jumping in with people from other countries who you have no knowledge of, beating it up, letting go in the joint, and then, you know, thinking everything's gonna be cool. 0 consequences. You're tripping, and you need to chill. Okay? Thank you.
Down the street from his place. He paid for it and I immediately took it. But as we all know, the Plan B pill does not work if you've already ovulated. So after my trip, after I left, a couple weeks later, I find out that I'm pregnant. I think I told him a couple days after I found out, because at that time he was telling me how much he's having, you know, difficulty sleeping, he's having health issues, and I was like, this is probably not the time. This is probably not a good time to tell you this information because you might have an aneurysm.
Wrong. You know when the best time was? Absolutely wrong, lady. You know when the best time was? Immediately. Once you figured out that you thought you were, then I would have spoke to him about it. That's what you should have done. But even if not, then maybe you don't want to give a false alarm. The moment that you figure it out, it doesn't matter what's going on. You let him know as soon as possible. Period. Do better.
I eventually tell him, I show him the pregnancy test. I send him pictures of it because I feel like if you meet someone one time, right, and they tell you they're pregnant, you're going to want to have proof. You know, you want to be for sure. I sent him pictures of the test and I told him, here, I'm sending this to you because you probably need.
This part of me is just so crazy. The fact that she would give her body to someone that you don't feel like communicating with, right? You don't know how to communicate with. You don't feel like you could have told him right away. It's crazy to me. You shouldn't give the man the ultimate honor of becoming pregnant if you can't communicate with bro. You don't know how to tell him. You don't know when to tell him. This isn't someone that you should lie with. That's just my thoughts.
To see it. He told me immediately he didn't need to see it, that he believed me. Remember that whenever this fertility lie comes up again, okay? After I told him about the pregnancy, his words and his actions never really aligned. His words said one thing, but his actions said another. He would claim that he would support me, that he would be involved, that he would co-parent, but his actions to me after, as I've said before, after the meetup, he would ignore my calls. He would give me so many excuses as to why he cannot communicate with me. He would text every now and then, but it wasn't consistent the same way as it was prior to meeting. He seemed to have a lot going on at the time. I had so many worries and concerns. I felt like it was maybe my fault that I was pushing him away, making him feel a little bit overwhelmed. This wasn't really a choice that he would make. He would have rather me get an abortion, just like the previous two women that he was with. Despite him telling me that he would rather me get an abortion, he did make it clear that it is the woman's choice. And I also told him that I would respect any decision that he made. I'm already a single mother. I decided that if this wasn't something that he was comfortable with, that he just wasn't ready for, I'm fine with him just walking away. And I let him know. I said, you have multiple choices that you could take. But in one of his videos that he posted about me, he lied and said that I told him to disappear.
After talking for a few weeks, we meet up. She ends up getting pregnant, wants to keep it. I'm supportive, despite her offering for me to disappear and not be involved.
Please show me where I said that. But I never told him to disappear, and if that is true, so-called king of receipts, please show that where I said you can disappear. I don't care. I'll do this by myself. I would like to see it.
Okay, I think we get it. The hypocrisy is what I'm angry at. Nothing more, nothing less. The pure hypocrisy. You doing exactly what you complain about men doing, right? You have become the man that you warn women about. So, there you have it. That's it. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are down at the bottom. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and like the video, hype the video if you're one of my early watchers. And even most importantly, share this with a few people who you think may also find value in it. We appreciate it. Love you for it. And as always, stay hungry, my friends. Never thirsty.